Hey guys, and welcome to another video, and in this video we are just going to talk about the top 5 authors that I would like to see or read more from. Nice and easy. Cue intro. So for this video I decided to focus more on authors who only have 1 or 2 books out at the moment, and not authors who already have multiple series that are already out there and ready to read. Some of these authors haven't actually released a book in up to 5 years, and it's doubtful if they ever will, but I'm just going to include them in this video anyway, to show that I want more books from them, and also to recommend the books that they have already written. So let's just get straight to it. The first author I'm going to mention is Josh Malerman, or Josh Malerman, I'm not sure how you say that one, and he is the author of Bird Box, which I have featured on this channel before. Bird Box is a horror novel, and it is set in a world where there is sort of a presence, and when you see that presence, it's never described what it is. Seeing it is so damaging to your psyche that it makes you want to kill yourself. And to counteract this presence, every character in the novel actually wears a blindfold, so the entire narration throughout the book is about a character who can't actually see. She has children whose faces she has never seen, and it is about their journey as they venture to a safe house. They have to leave their house, make their way down a river, all while being hunted by this presence and staying blindfolded. It sounds like it's going to be sort of a boring or simple narration, but it really works for the suspense. I've read this book twice and it really works. I know I say that a lot, but it just really does. If you can't tell, I highly recommend it. I have looked on GOODREADS for this author, and he's currently producing a second book, but we know nothing of it right now. But suffice to say, when it comes out, I will definitely be reading it. The second author on this list is Mark Casito, the author of the How I Paid for College and Attack of the Theatre People. This series is a contemporary. It's not technically YA, but it's not technically adult either. There's a lot of sex and drugs that make it too edgy for YA. But it basically follows a cast of characters who are in drama school, and our main character who is trying to get into the exclusive school of Juilliard. Wackiness ensues. This is just a very funny novel. The narration, the characters, it all works really well. The author is actually a playwright, I'm guessing for comedy plays. And this is also a series I've read multiple times. Well, I've read the first book multiple times, the second one not so much. But there was supposed to be a third book planned in this series called The Jazz Hands of God, but it was actually cancelled, and he has no other books listed on GOODREADS, so I don't know if we are ever going to get another book from this author, but I really hope so, because that book made me laugh so much. And I'd like to see the planned third book come into fruition, because I would really like to spend some more time with those characters. The third book I'm going to mention is Madeline Miller, and she is the author of The Song of Achilles, one of my favorite books ever. The interesting thing about this author though is it actually took her 11 years to write The Song of Achilles, and since its release a good 5 or 6 years ago, I want to say, she hasn't written anything else, and nothing else is planned on GOODREADS. But it's interesting because with this author, I was always going to like this book. This book is basically a gay love story set in Greek mythology times. That sounded very simple. But it's basically the story of Achilles and his best friend slash lover, Patroclus. It's never been confirmed in history whether they were in fact lovers, but Madeline Miller takes it that step further. And there was always the suspicion for the novel to be based upon that. So before I even read this novel, I knew I was going to like it, and maybe it was a case of just loving the story as opposed to the writing, but because Madeline Miller has a huge background in Greek mythology, I would really like to see her tackle some more stories from that and write them in her own way. There are actually very few adult retellings of Greek mythological stories, and I think we need some more of them. The fourth author on this list is a bit of an obscure one, and that is Stefan Keyes, who wrote Your House is on Fire, Your Children Are All Gone. This was basically a collection of short stories set around this town where basically everybody in the town is evil and a sociopath, but they're very literary stories. The book itself is not perfect by any means. I really enjoyed it, but I know it's not perfect and it has its detractors. Some who say it's violent for violence sake, or, you know, sociopathic in certain ways. But the idea and the stories inside the book I just thought were really well adapted in a way. It is actually a book where probably no taboo is left untouched. It makes me worry about the author's mind. Probably not one I would want to meet in person or in a dark alley, but I would definitely read a fully fledged novel by him. I believe this book was released quite a few years ago, so I'm not sure if we are ever going to get anything, but hey, if we do, I will read it. Then the fifth author on this list is sort of going to be a bit of a cheat, and that is going to be Rob Thomas, who is the author of the Veronica Mars novel and the creator of the entire show. Once the show was cancelled, they released a movie, and then they released two novels quite quickly together, which were a continuation from the movie. The worrying thing is, even though those two novels did really well, I haven't heard anything about a planned third novel, and I really want it. Veronica Mars was one of my favourite shows when I was younger, and I just want it to continue forever. Honestly though, I feel there is much more to this series and much more to be told for the characters, so I'm hoping that they wrap it up, at least in a trilogy. Like, come on. I mean, trilogies are all the rage these days. Join in, Rob. Join in. So yes, those were the top 5 authors that I would like to read or hear more from. If you've read any of these books, please feel free to leave some comments and we can have a little bit of a chat about them. And also tell me some authors that you really want to read more from, especially ones who have only released one book that you've really loved and then you've never heard from that author again. That is going to be all from me for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up so I know you liked it, and I shall see you soon with another one. Goodbye. My wave is stupid.